Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
hmm
Today we're digging into AI, and how it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of how our society actually works.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when you really start to look at it.
Totally.
It's not just taking over robotic tasks anymore. Like we see AI shaping how decisions are made,
Right.
protecting our planet, our health.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty mind-blowing. Some of the stuff I was reading about, like one thing that really stuck with me was this AI tool that's being used to monitor election stuff online,
Hmm.
like all that content people are posting.
Oh, wow.
And apparently it uses like machine learning to filter through tons of data and flag, things that could be misinformation or even deepfakes.
Yeah, it's definitely a response to all those worries people have about whether elections are even fair anymore in this digital world.
Right.
So the idea is, can AI actually help people sort through all this information online and make choices based on actual facts, not just stuff that's meant to mislead them?
Okay, but how do we make sure that this, digital watchdog or whatever we want to call it
Right.
doesn't end up silencing, opinions that are totally legit? Like
Mm-hmm.
separating like a really heated debate from something that's actually misinformation
Yeah.
seems super tricky.
Yeah, that's the really tough question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It all comes down to teaching the AI to understand the subtleties of how we use language, context, all that.
Right.
It's almost like you're trying to teach a computer to get sarcasm,
Oh, yeah.
which good luck with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
How do you
there's
do that?
also the whole thing about bias. Like, what if the information this AI is trained on,
Yeah.
already has bias baked in?
Right.
Could that lead to it, flagging certain opinions unfairly?
Yeah.
And wouldn't that basically end up like shutting down free speech?
Absolutely. That's a huge concern, and it really highlights why transparency and accountability are so crucial when we're developing AI. We have to make sure these systems are being trained on data that's diverse, representing the full spectrum of political opinions, and that they're constantly being watched and tweaked to prevent bias from sneaking in.
Okay. And then there's this whole other thing with deepfakes, like these videos that are made with AI that make it seem like someone's saying or doing something they never did.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading that these could be used to spread lies about, people running for office or even mess with voting.
Deepfakes are a serious threat, and they're getting more and more convincing all the time.
It's scary.
The technology behind them, those generative adversarial networks.
Right.
Yeah, it's like an AI arms race.
Mm.
You know, Developers are constantly trying to stay ahead of the people who want to use this tech for bad stuff.
It sounds like a sci-fi movie gone wrong.
It kind of does.
So are there any rules being made to deal with all of this?
Well, it's a fast-moving landscape, and lawmakers are definitely playing catch-up. Some states are beginning to put laws in place that require more transparency when AI is used for political ads, which is a good first step.
It seems like finding that balance, protecting elections but also protecting free speech, it's going to be a constant struggle as AI gets more powerful.
Definitely. It's going to take a lot of open and honest discussion between the people creating this technology, the people making the laws, and the public, to make sure these tools are used responsibly.
So speaking of powerful tools, let's shift gears a bit and talk about how AI is being used to, help us with another big challenge,
Yeah.
protecting our environment.
Okay.
I was reading about this new AI model that can keep an eye on deforestation in real time using images from satellites.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is.
It's like having a global watchdog for our forests, constantly looking for signs of illegal logging and stuff like that.
Wait, so how does that actually work? Does the AI just like look for spots where there are no trees anymore?
It's a little more complex than that. It's looking for those subtle changes in the satellite pictures, like differences in color or texture. Things that might show that deforestation is happening.
Mhm.
And because it's analyzing data constantly, it can warn people about potential problems way faster than traditional methods.
So it's like having a team of like super forest rangers, with X-ray vision constantly watching over the entire planet.
Yeah,
That's a total game changer for conservation.
it really is. And the best part is, it doesn't just point out problems, it helps us understand them better too.
Oh, wow.
By crunching all that data over time, AI can help scientists, spot patterns, predict where deforestation might happen next, and come up with more effective ways to protect our forests.
But I'm sure there are challenges too. Like, how can we be sure this AI is getting it right? What if it mistakes something like a controlled burn or a natural forest fire for deforestation?
You're right, the accuracy of the AI is crucial. It depends a lot on the quality of the satellite images. Higher resolution means more detail, and that helps the AI tell the difference between things.
Mm.
There's also the constant challenge of training the AI on a wide variety of data to reduce mistakes and prevent bias from skewing the results.
I'm also curious about the human side of this. If we're relying on AI to watch over our forests, does that create a risk that we'll become complacent or forget how important it is to have people, boots on the ground actually doing conservation work?
That's a really good point. Technology should never replace human involvement, especially with something as complex as protecting our environment.
Yeah.
I think we should see AI as a powerful tool that can help us do our jobs better and more strategically.
So finding that balance, human expertise combined with technological innovation.
Exactly. AI can give us the big picture and quick analysis, while humans bring their knowledge, experience, and the ability to handle those tricky situations out in the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So it seems like AI is really opening up some amazing possibilities for protecting the environment. Are there other areas where it's already making a difference?
Oh, definitely. AI is being used to make energy grids smarter, helping us move to renewable energy sources more efficiently.
Mhm.
It's also being used to model and predict the effects of climate change,
Right.
which gives us super valuable insights for how to, deal with it and adapt. And it's even being used to design new materials that are sustainable, like paving the way for a greener future.
Wow. It really feels like AI has the potential to be a key player in building a more sustainable planet.
I think so too, but like with any powerful tool, we have to use AI carefully, responsibly, always thinking about the potential consequences
Right.
and making sure it aligns with our values.
So it's not just about the tech itself, but also about how humans guide its development and how we use it.
Exactly. AI can, kind of amplify both our best and worst impulses.
Hmm.
It's up to us to make sure it's used to solve problems, not make them worse.
Which brings us to another area where AI is making huge strides: healthcare.
Right.
I've been hearing so much about these AI-powered tools that can personalize medicine, like tailoring treatments to someone's unique genes and lifestyle.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most exciting frontiers in medicine right now.
It is.
Imagine a world where treatments aren't one size fits all anymore, but they're actually customized to your specific needs
Right.
and predispositions.
Right.
That's the promise of AI-driven personalized medicine.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but how does it actually work? Does the AI just, look at your DNA and then tell you what to take?
Well, it's more complicated than that, but you're on the right track.
Okay.
The AI takes in tons of data,
Yeah.
including your genetic information, your medical history, lifestyle choices, even environmental factors,
Mhm.
and uses all of that to create a detailed profile of, your individual health risks and how you might respond to different treatments.
So it's like having a super smart doctor who knows everything about your body and can predict how you'll react to certain medications.
Yeah, in a way, the AI can identify potential drug interactions, figure out the likelihood of side effects,
Right.
and even suggest alternative treatments that might work better for you based on your genes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It seems like this could completely change healthcare, leading to better outcomes and maybe even preventing diseases before they even show up.
The potential is huge.
Yeah.
It could mean fewer misdiagnoses, fewer bad reactions to medications, and more targeted treatments
Right.
that are specifically tailored to your body's needs.
But I imagine there are ethical concerns too, like what happens to all that personal data that's being collected and analyzed?
Right.
How do we make sure it stays private and secure?
Data privacy is a huge concern when we're talking about AI in healthcare.
Yeah.
We're dealing with some of the most sensitive information imaginable. Our genetic blueprints, our medical histories, our lifestyle choices.
Right.
Protecting that data is absolutely crucial.
And I imagine there's also the risk of bias, sneaking into these AI systems.
Yeah.
What if the algorithms are trained on data that reflects, existing inequalities in healthcare? Could that make things even worse?
Yeah, that's a critical issue that has to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure the data used to train these algorithms is diverse. It represents everyone, and that the algorithms themselves are designed to minimize bias and make sure everyone has equal access to healthcare.
It sounds like the developers and the people making policies have a lot of responsibility here.
It's a shared responsibility, really.
Right.
We all need to be part of the conversation about how AI is developed and used to
Yeah.
make sure it reflects our values and serves humanity fairly and ethically.
This whole conversation about AI and healthcare brings up another really interesting question. What will healthcare look like in the future as these technologies become even more advanced and integrated into our lives?
It's a fascinating question that sparks a lot of imagination. One possibility is that We'll move away from this reactive model of healthcare where we wait for people to get sick before treating them
Right.
and shift towards a proactive model where AI helps us identify potential health risks early on and take steps to prevent them from turning into full-blown diseases.
So instead of just treating the symptoms, we'd be tackling the root causes and maybe even stopping illness altogether.
Exactly. AI could become our health partner, helping us make healthier choices, manage chronic conditions better, and even spot early warning signs of disease before any symptoms even show up.
That's amazing. It sounds like a pretty radical change.
It is, but it's a change that's already happening.
Mm.
We're seeing AI-powered wearable devices that can track our vital signs, analyze our sleep patterns, even detect subtle changes in how we walk or talk.
Wow.
That might indicate a developing health problem.
That's pretty mind-blowing. It seems like AI could eventually become like a personal health assistant, constantly monitoring our well-being and giving us personalized advice.
Yeah. That's definitely one possible scenario, and as AI keeps evolving, we can expect to see even more innovations in healthcare, from personalized drug discovery to robotic surgery to virtual health companions.
It's both exciting and a little scary to think about all the possibilities.
I agree, but we have to remember that technology is a tool, and it's up to us to decide how we use it.
Right.
By approaching AI with a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of caution, we can harness its power to create a healthier and more equitable future for everyone.
Well said. From elections to the environment to healthcare, it's clear that AI is already having a huge impact on our lives, and that impact is only going to get bigger in the coming years.
What's really interesting is that we're still just at the beginning of this AI revolution.
Right.
The next few decades are likely to bring even more profound changes,
Yeah.
challenging our assumptions about what's possible and forcing us to rethink everything from how we work to how we interact with the world around us.
It's almost like we're standing on the edge of a new frontier, looking out at a future that's both thrilling and uncertain.
It's a future that we're building together, one algorithm at a time, and it's our responsibility to ensure that this future reflects our shared values and our hopes for a better world.
That's a powerful thought, and one that we should all keep in mind as we navigate this rapidly changing technological landscape.
Absolutely.
So we've talked a lot about the big picture, but we've gotten tons of questions from our listeners
Oh, wow.
about, the more practical stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to dig into some of those with you now.
Happy to share my thoughts. Let's just hear what people want to know.
Okay, so this first one comes from Sarah. She asks, what are some things we can actually do to make sure AI is developed and used ethically, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare and elections?
That's a great question, Sarah, and one that we should all be thinking about. I think it starts with just being aware,
Right.
The more we understand about AI, how it works, and, what the potential consequences could be, the better prepared we'll be to advocate for, its responsible development and use.
So it's all about educating ourselves and staying informed.
Absolutely. We need to be like critical thinkers, when we're reading about AI,
Yeah.
separating the hype from reality, questioning assumptions.
Right.
And we also need to be aware of those biases that can sneak into these systems and demand transparency and accountability from the people who are building and using them.
So being an informed citizen is more important than ever in this age of AI.
I completely agree. We need to make our voices heard, get involved in discussions, and hold our leaders accountable, for creating policies that make sure AI is serving humanity, not the other way around.
Okay, this next one comes from David, and I think it's something a lot of people are worried about. He asks, with AI potentially automating so many jobs, how can we prepare for the future of work?
Yeah, that's a valid concern, David. It's true that AI is probably going to change the job market in big ways.
Right.
But I don't think it's just a simple case of, robots taking over our jobs.
Right.
It's more about a shift in what skills are going to be most valuable.
So it's not like this black and white scenario where robots are just going to replace us.
No, it's more nuanced than that. AI will probably automate certain tasks within jobs,
Right.
which frees up humans to focus on the things machines aren't good at, like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and emotional intelligence.
So it's about adapting and focusing on the skills that work well with AI.
Exactly. Lifelong learning is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to embrace new tech, learn new skills, and adapt to how the workplace is changing.
So education and retraining are going to be key to navigating these shifts.
For sure, we need to invest in education systems that teach people the skills they need to succeed in an AI-powered world.
Right.
And we need to create opportunities for people to, retrain and upskill so they can stay competitive in the job market.
Okay, last question. This one's from Maria, and she asks, With all these potential risks, should we be worried about AI becoming too powerful or even dangerous?
Well, that's a question that's been around for ages, you know? Philosophers, scientists, science fiction writers, they've all thought about it. It's definitely a possibility we need to consider.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is to remember that AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
The key is making sure that when we're developing and using AI, we're guided by ethics and a commitment to, human well-being.
So it's not about being afraid of the tech itself, but about making conscious choices about how we design and use it.
Exactly. We need to think carefully about what could happen, build in safeguards to prevent misuse and establish clear lines of responsibility.
Mm.
And we need to have open and honest discussions about the ethics of AI involving not just tech people, but also ethicists, policymakers, and the public, everyone.
It sounds like we all have a part to play in shaping the future of AI.
We absolutely do. The choices we make today are going to determine what kind of world we create for ourselves and for future generations.
Well, this has been a really fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
It's been my pleasure. These are important discussions to have, and I really appreciate you creating this platform to explore these complex topics.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and its impact on society.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constantly evolving landscape, and we'll definitely keep exploring these topics as they unfold.
Yeah.
Just remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being shaped by the choices we make every single day. So stay informed, stay engaged, and make sure your voice is heard.